You know this face. But why this one? Before it existed, countless forms were possible, different eyes, different expressions. Yet possibility chooses nothing, what ordered one balanced living individuality. DNA describes mechanisms, biology traces development, but one final question remains. Every face is different inside the same astonishing human plan. To see why that matters begin before a face had any shape at all. Before one outline became visible, there was no finished portrait waiting inside a cell. There were inherited instructions, chemical gradients, timed signals, and countless possible variations in how the shared human pattern might be expressed. A possibility is not a decision. It has no eye with which to compare, no memory of a plan, and no concern for the life that must use the result. A field of options does not explain its own selection. Yet the result is not an arbitrary arrangement. Two eyes occupy positions suited to shared vision openings. Muscles, nerves, and vessels arrive within one working geometry. Difference appears, but difference is held inside order. The face is not assembled as independent pieces. An eyelid makes sense with an eye with nerves, with a brain, a mouth, with breath, language, and nourishment. Each part is prepared for relationships beyond itself. That is why mere variety is not the mystery. The mystery is constrained variety, freedom enough for individuality limits, precise enough for life and coordination, broad enough for one person to see, breathe, speak, and be recognized. When one meaningful form is distinguished from alternatives, three ideas enter the argument: determination, this rather than those; knowledge, a result fitted to the whole; will, one possibility made actual. These are philosophical inferences, not laboratory measurements, but the ordered selection is what calls them forth. Begin with the eyes, lids protect them, tears clean them, brows divert moisture, pupils answer light, paired viewpoints become depth. None of these functions is merely decorative, and none operates as an isolated ornament. The ears locate sound, the nose conditions air and carries scent, the mouth receives food, shapes breath into speech, and communicates intention. Several systems meet in a small surface, each serving the same living center. Skin feels temperature, and touch muscles turn inner states into visible expression. A slight movement can signal attention, concern, recognition, or relief. Matter becomes a readable language without ceasing to be matter. Behind the visible features stand invisible faculties: attention, selecting a sound, memory, recognizing a friend, emotion, coloring a glance, intention, preparing a word. The face becomes the border where an inner life meets the world. Recognition depends on both stability and change. The expression moves, the lighting changes, and age leaves its marks. Yet we still identify the person. Identity is carried through variation, not destroyed by it. So the face is not merely a label attached to a body. It is an integrated instrument of sight, breath, speech, feeling, and relationship. Outer senses and inner faculties cooperate for one life and one biography. Identical twins offer a serious test. They can share extraordinary genetic similarity and still remain distinguishable through development, environment, expression, experience. And time similarity does not erase individuality. It reveals how finely individuality is written. Age offers another test, the face of a child, an adult, and an old man may look profoundly different. Still, continuity survives the change. A signature can develop without becoming a random stranger at every stage. Now imagine a city in which every person carried exactly the same face recognition. Would collapse trust, responsibility, and ordinary social memory? Would become confused. Individual distinction is not excess decoration, it serves human life. But complete disorder would fail as well. If features ignored, the shared human architecture function would be lost. The remarkable balance is sameness enough for one species, difference enough for every person. One face therefore carries two messages at once: an individual stamp that says this person, and a common seal that says human. The argument depends on both. Difference alone is incomplete. Unity alone is incomplete. The strongest objection now returns: genes influence inherited features, developmental processes, shape tissues, environment, and chance events contribute variation. Any honest account should acknowledge all of this because mechanism is part of the evidence, not an enemy of it. Science can map sequences with increasing precision, which signals arrive, which genes are active, which tissues respond. And when that knowledge is real, powerful, and unfinished, it explains how events are connected within the process. But a description of connections does not automatically answer every question about authorship or meaning. A mechanism can be genuine without being self-explanatory. Naming the ink does not tell us whether a sentence wrote itself. This is not a contest between science and belief. Science asks how the workshop operates. The philosophical question asks what kind of explanation can encompass the workshop, its materials, its laws, and the coherent result together. The first conclusion is wisdom. Features are placed in relationships that serve life: protection with sight, air with smell, breath with speech, expression with recognition. A meaningful fit points beyond blind accumulation toward an all-wise maker. Look closely at one person. The features, senses, nerves, and inner faculties are not separate signatures competing on one surface. They read as one coordinated stamp upon one living individuality. The second conclusion is oneness. Pull back from one face to all faces. The individual signatures differ, but the underlying language remains shared. One coherent seal appears across humanity, rather than unrelated workshops producing incompatible designs. Unity does not erase variety here. It makes variety intelligible. The same grammar can produce innumerable meaningful sentences. In the same way, one human plan carries unrepeatable personal expressions, without losing its common origin. The third conclusion widens the scale. A face cannot exist by itself, it requires a body. And the body requires a world: light for vision, air for breath, food for growth, water, warmth, gravity, and stable physical laws. To account for the face completely, the explanation must reach beyond the face. The power that owns the result cannot be confined to one cell or one local cause, while borrowing the rest of the universe without explanation. This leads to the fourth conclusion, called eternal besottedness. Everything we observe depends: the eye on light nerves, on energy cells, on water, life, on a world. The one on whom all finally depend cannot be another needy link in the same chain. All turn to him. He depends on none. Now apply the promised workshop test. Can the cause assigned to the eye also encompass memory, attention, and the world of light that makes seeing possible? A partial contribution is not yet a complete author. Can the cause assigned to the mouth also account for language, breath, nourishment, and the person who intends a word? Each local answer opens into a larger, coordinated whole. And what blind, divided workshop can claim both the inimitable stamp on every individual and the single collective seal across all humanity? One face points to an all-wise maker. All faces display the seal of one creator. Next time you pass a mirror, ask the deeper question: whose signature